Good morning, everybody. It is 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday in late April. In fact, it's the 30th of April, and I am going to cut a great big order. I've got 1,500 stems to cut for a wholesale order. It's going up to the Newt tomorrow for their flower. They've got a spring weekend coming up. So I've had a big order, bigger than I can cut. So I'm going to cut 1,500 stems from my field. But I'm always saying to people, your fellow flower farmers are not the competition, they're your colleagues. And so my colleague, Hazel at Yalham Hayes, a little bit further west from here, she's bringing another 2,000 stems this afternoon so that it's a nice fat 3,500 stem order, and which we will then deliver tomorrow. I think in 2 van loads, because they'll go in buckets. It's early in the season, and so a lot of the flowers are very sappy and fresh and don't like being out of water for very long. So while they're conditioning, we won't deliver them flat out of water. We'll deliver them in buckets of water and get the buckets back. Anyway, I thought you'd like to see a big order. I've got quite a lot of tulips left. A huge crop of viburnum opulus, the cow parsley's out, the buttercups are out. There are all sorts of bits and pieces that I've got to cut. So let's go cutting and see how we put together a big order. And if you're new to the channel, you're very welcome. Please do subscribe, press the bell icon, and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks I give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club, which is where all the fun happens. Anyway, the links for coffee buying and club membership are in the blurb to all my clips. And also do make a comment. I love the comments, and it builds the feeling of community as people get to know each other in the comments. It's fun. So I'm going to start with these lovely tulips, kind of salmon pink, orangey pink. These are Monton. And although I know how many I planted, and I've not pulled any of these yet, I will count them, because you don't necessarily get the number of tulips that you plant. And if you haven't seen me do this before, I pull my tulips like this. They're planted in loose, fresh compost, and it makes very quick harvesting. With the bulb. So as they come in, the tulips get laid on the table for processing, and I make a note. Monton tulips. There we are. That's pretty much the last of the tulips for 2024. Obsessively counting, but that's 535 stems. The honesty's looking lush, and the customers asked for lots of white, so I'm going in. And the snowball bush is absolutely perfect, so we'll have loads of this. And the last of the crab apples to flower is the Siberian crab apple. And there's camera shy Fabrizio harvesting for me. You can see it's very beautiful when it's out. And then we're cutting them so that they're about this level, and they'll pop for the client. So from the tunnel, we've just got a little bit. We've got some lovely Sweet William and Sweet Rocket, lovely scent. And the first of the foxgloves. Not masses. I'm not going to give them all my foxgloves, but they can have a few. Because aren't they pretty? Right, that's 1,045 stems cut, if not processed, out of 1,500, and it's just gone 11 o'clock, so we're pushing on through. And the Telema grandiflora is looking great, so for detail, lovely. So it's 20 to 3, and we're all cut. I have to say, I love the foliage. Look at that. The mighty Irk cuts beautifully at this time of year. Sorry, my English. Oak, lime, lovely zingy colour. Elm grows wild in the hedge, gets to about 20 foot, and then the Dutch elm beetle comes along and kills it, but it grows very happily in the hedge until then. Honesty, the snowball bush. Bit of cornus, again, lovely colour in the leaf, plus coming flower. Bit of euphorbia, I think about 20 stems of euphorbia in the whole mix, just for some oomph. Lovely Physocarpus for a bit of a zingy yellow. We were invited to do yellow, orange, white. So then we go up to the tulips. Lots of tulips, buttercups, ranunculus, more tulips. This is Sweet Rocket. Smells nicer than the Honesty, which smells a bit cabbagey. Lots of cow parsley. Here's the bucket from the polytunnel, little extra bits, foxgloves and so on. Telema grandiflora, just say yes. And the apple blossom. You might think that 1,200 stems like this is a lot, but they're making 15 or 16 big displays. So actually, I think they'll use it up quite quickly. And it should look really lovely. So if you're going to the flower festival at the Newt this weekend, the first weekend in May, look out, because there'll be lots of locally grown flowers in the flower crowns and in the big displays. And I hope everybody has a really lovely weekend. I think the forecast is that the weather is going to warm up, for which we will all be grateful. So I hope you enjoy the mix I've cut. This is increasingly my business as a flower farmer. When I started, I was growing bouquets because it was very hard to sell my cut stems to florists and people working with flowers. They assumed, understandably, that the quality would be low grade and the price would be too high. 15 years on, the market has evolved incomparably. And so increasingly, this is my bread and butter. Just cut the garden and sell it. It means there's more time to do other stuff, not so creative. Although I have really enjoyed putting this mix together. I like making a kind of a flower shop look so that my studio looks like a flower shop this afternoon, and I'll enjoy looking at them. I'm teaching a lifestyle business workshop in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And so I'll be able to look at them and enjoy them while I teach. Right. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon.